Alrighties. 28 years later, I'd been meaning to make this video for a while. I just kept putting it off, but honestly, 28 years later is one of my top 5 of this year. 28 years later is one of my top 5 of this year. It was a movie that I was honestly gonna trash. I was initially going into the theater beforehand. I was trashing on the movie. I was like, there's no way this movie is gonna do good because, I watched the second one. The first one was amazing. I watched the second one with freaking Jeremy Renner. And that movie was boo-boo. That movie was boo-boo, dude. And so I was like, I had a bad taste in my mouth because of the second one. I was like, how are they going to redeem themselves? But they did it. They did it. This is a retcon of the second one. So it's like you go the first one and then you go 28 years later. The second one is just, let's forget about that. But this movie, I enjoyed it. I loved it. Oh my gosh, the suspense. There were moments in the movie where you're like, your character's about to get bodied, dude. Like, there are moments you're like on the edge of your seat, like, oh my gosh, he's about to get got. Like, there's so many moments where the freaking infected are like right there, and the character just doesn't even know, and you're like, oh my gosh. I know there's a lot of gripes. With this movie because of the editing choice, because of how the editor likes to cut back and forth between scenes that have nothing to do with each other. But that's a really good move. Because it makes you think. It's like, what the heck is going on? You know what I mean? It makes you think about what this world is doing or what's going on. You know what I mean? There are moments where the editor will just choose some weird music and put it over some vibrant images, and you're like, huh? And there's some moments where it'll just show you like a perspective from the infected, which is pretty different, pretty cool, honestly. And this movie definitely changes things because I'm gonna give you this one spoiler. Okay. This movie introduces different types of infected that we had never seen in other movies. Like, they really built onto this idea of infected and how it changes people, and some people will be different. Some people will be stronger. Some people will be weaker. You know what I mean? And this movie, like, from the very beginning, it was at a 10. It was all the way up from the beginning, dude. And I can see this movie over and over again and never get tired of it because of how he designed, the script and action and everything, that it just ties together really nicely. And by the end of the movie, everything loops back around to the beginning, so it ties itself together by the end, and you can't wish for anything more. You know what I mean? I rate this movie a solid 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I enjoyed it. There was nothing wrong with it in my eyes. It redeemed the second one. You know what I mean? The second one was trash. The second one was boo-boo. But this one, completely retconning the second one. I loved it. Okay.